Welcome back to Nigeria 2015. Let's go over to join Gloria Omezoke. She joins us from Abuja, and she actually found this report in earlier in the day.
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. These remaining days leading up to the 2015 general elections apparently are very crucial, not just for the politicians who are making the last-minute rounds, so to speak, but for the nation as well. While the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States and the president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, was at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, today to confer with President Goodluck Jonathan ahead of the elections. Now, let's not forget that the chairman of the Authority of Heads of States of ECOWAS is equally working with the electoral commissions of about 5 countries that are going through elections this year, and ECOWAS has been involved in ensuring that these elections are held in a peaceful and transparent environment. So the ECOWAS head made it very clear that the outcome of the general elections not only concerns Nigerians, but the whole of Africa. So in extending his solidarity to the Nigerian people through the president, he noted that Nigeria is a democratic country and ruled by tenets of good governance and the rule of law. Again, primarily, Chamberlain, the ECOWAS team are expectant that there will be no post-election violence and that all the parties involved in the elections would accept the results of the elections in good faith when INEC announces the results of the elections. Now, Mahama also met with the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, behind closed doors, and the major opposition or Progressive Congress presidential candidate, General Muhammadu Buhari, after his meeting with the president at the airport. Well, now we understand, however, that the talk centered on cementing reassurances among the contenders and, of course, umpires on the fair and violence-free elections agreement endorsed by all the parties ahead of the March 28 and April 11 coming elections. Well, that's it from the nation's capital. Chamberlain.
Well, thank you, Gloria. Some very important points raised there. But let me pick up on the last point Tudenta made about either he heard INEC talking about picking up permanent voter cards on the day of elections. So many things are new in these elections. If that were the case, how do you see that playing out, Chief Mustafa?
Well, I think first of all, I am from a rural community. We know ourselves in that community. And we know that we don't like to be disenfranchised. So if INEC says we can collect PVCs on election day, we know if they say this card belongs to Chief Bode Mustafa or belongs to Alaji so or Mrs. Rafatu Ishala, everybody knows who is that in the area. So it wouldn't be a problem. I think they may have such a problem in urban areas in which people come from various areas and various angles to come and register. But that's really not my worry. Of course, we'll come to that, hopefully. My worry is about violence-free election. Information that's coming to us that people are preparing police uniforms for OPCs, preparing youths to create havoc, to wreak havoc on election day, inviting them to somewhere in Lagos, giving them $1,000 each, and of course the people who organized it should change them by $500 a piece and stuff like that. That should be more of a worry than INEC.
Prof, I mean, this question of non-violent elections, not just post, even during and before the elections, our history is dotted with those kind of scenarios. And one wonders, with this introduction of technology, we thought it was going to be history.
Well, old habits die hard. Those who don't want free or fair or credible elections will fight and resist change. And if you look at the parties, ideologically speaking, you could say that the frontliners could be those who are conservative, who want more of the same, and the parties that want a different scenario. So for me, it's a contest between conservatism and progressivism. We are not in Europe, where you could talk of left of center or right of center. At the end of the day, those who want to resist change will fight to keep the status quo because they benefit and profit from the status quo. Those who believe the status quo has not done well also will strive to ensure that we have a turnaround in our circumstances. So for me, I don't envisage that we will have a completely violent-free electoral process. Look at what happened in Okrika. Look at what has happened in Akwa Ibom. Look at what is happening here in Lagos. So some people have invested resources into muscling in whoever does not agree with them. So it's the political sociology of Nigeria bespeaks using bare knuckles to ensure that the elections meet the interests of those who finance the men of muscle.
All right, Mr. Denta, I mean, would you have heard about any of such things or plans going on anywhere?
Well, there's so much loose talk, so much talk of Nigerian public these days. This talk has really been deep intellectual content, so imagine. First and foremost, it is possible to have 7 OPCs incarnated by 7 different platforms or groups. Once somebody has a put OPC, they can run and then criminalize some individual or what they represent. I suspect that if you have credible intelligence information, you have the authorities to report to, the SSX, the police, etc. It is not something we trivialize on public television, because issues of security and violence are very crucial to the soul of our democracy. That's the first point. The second one is that with regard to Prof's comment, I beg to disagree. There's no ideological difference, not whatsoever, in terms of philosophical thrust, organizational matter between the 2 leading parties, the PDP and the APC. It's a flip of a coin, just different side of the same coin. If you take the leading lights of the APC, for example, the DG of the campaign organization was for 8 years a speaker under the PDP government, for 6.5 years a governor under a PDP government. Just a year, he became APC, an apostle of change. The Speaker of the House of Reps, my good old boss Saraki, Atiku, etc. These parties are parties in the making. These parties are not judged whether they are conservative, whether they are reactionary, whether they are change agents. No. Within the entrails of these parties, you find reposed individuals with different ideological mindset, different understanding of the shape of Nigerian democracy, and different calculation on how power should be taken in the democratic setting. What we should be bothered about will be the coherence of the parties as organizational indices. If you take PDP, for example, since 1999 to the present time, it has hung in there as a party which has been winning elections and so on and so forth. If you take APC, it's a party in the making. It just incarnated from the old heritage platform of ACN, CPC, and then rump of AMPP and so on, and then with the infusion of the decampees and the deserters from the PDP to create a mass structure that could really be efficient in then bidding for power. Having said that, I suspect that the issue of post-election, or even post-election violence particularly, is very crucial, because if you look at the Abuja Accord and then the peace committee set up, more effort should be devoted by commentators and pundits on the work of the Salami Abubakar-led peace committee, how we can buy into it, how we can reduce its elitist content, and then led from the ground top, people can key into it at the community level, how public enlightenment could begin to explain to Nigerian people.
All right, Mr. Denta. Let me just go over now to our correspondent, Emmanuel Ere, who joins us live from Port Harcourt, and he yes, at that venue where they just concluded that debate. Emmanuel, go ahead and tell us, are there still reactions about Mr. Ikuru's defection?
Thank you, Chamberlain. One of the things I would like to tell you is that the political atmosphere in Rivers State at this time is still uncertain in the eyes of many observers. Well, the defection of the deputy governor from the APC to the PDP may appear to have been taken lightly by the APC, but that was not the case today when the PDP received him officially into their fold here in the city of Port Harcourt. I must tell you that it was a big celebration. They say the strongest member, according to them, of the APC is now in the PDP. They even said that the backbone of the APC is now in the PDP in the person of Engineer Tele Ikuru. But in the coming days, we expect to see more reactions and developments as to what will happen after today. Today, again, seems to have been a little bit adjusted. I mean, the political atmosphere may have been a little bit adjusted by the debates. By the way, we are reaching you live from the Hotel Presidential here in the city of Port Harcourt, where the Rivers governorship debate is going on. And you must have seen that 3 candidates decided to apply their trade before Rivers people, and it's a good opportunity for Rivers people to test the waters as to what these people have to offer. And I'm sure after the debates, the decisions will be made at the polls come Saturday.
Most definitely. Thank you very much indeed, Emmanuel Ere, reporting to us live from Port Harcourt. We'll take a break now, but we'll be back and continue, including taking a look at some of your thoughts on the program. Join us again.